What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So we have some more updates on some things that President Biden is doing to provide more help to the American people. So that is good news, but I will get to that in just a second. First, just want to state that the House committees are still working on this stimulus package, still working on their specific bills, but all indications do point to them being done sometime this week. So that is good news. I stated this morning, and I'm going to continue to kind of reiterate the exact same thing until the House committees are done. So we know they're working great. The Senate and the House and the Senate are technically on recess or vacation, like some people like to call it, but we do know some committees within the House are still working. So we also know that President Biden wants this stimulus package completed as quickly as possible because he says that the American people cannot live their lives with little income and no resources. So because of that, he has stated that vaccine funding is needed now more than ever before. He states schools need additional resources to open up safely. Stimulus checks are now being seen as survival checks, and unemployment benefits in certain states are coming out so slowly that we need to provide additional resources. Here's what we know. Just the other day, the LA Times did this great piece on unemployment, and from a different perspective. They addressed unemployment from the side of the unemployment department, the EDD. What they stated is that the Employment Development Department, the EDD of California, has had thousands of employees just quit. Recently, they've had over 1,300 employees just quit because they can't handle the nonstop calls, the crying, people saying their stories. And a lot of these are not just sob stories. These are actual stories that people are giving that are real life stories, that they can't afford food. They can't afford their utilities, their heat, their electricity, whatever, their gas bill. They just cannot afford it. And now they are just waiting for the state to give them the benefits that they are due. Some people in California and in other states as well are saying that they have been waiting months. A few people in Colorado have been saying that they have been waiting for about 7 to 8 months and have not received an unemployment check. So right now, what we know is that the LA Times states that this department receives or has roughly 3,000 employees who are answering over 3 million calls per week. That's a lot of calls. And this is not just in California. Many states are having this exact same issue. Some people cannot receive their benefits. Why? Because they can't. Maybe somebody is scamming them and taking their benefits from them, and so they never receive it. But the state says, yes, we're sending you a check every single week. And then other people are saying that no, that the state is pretty much just making them jump through hoops. And again, I'm not trying to bash California, but the most people that we hear these kind of horror stories about are from California. So what we are seeing is that a lot of states are having these exact same difficulties. And this will not go away until two things happen. What President Biden has stated is that states need more funding to hire more employees and possibly give them a wage, a higher, kind of give them a little bit of a boost to entice them to actually hold down that position. Because some people will not do it. Some people will not work in these departments simply because of the stories that they hear. Also, the stress levels are very high. So they say this is one thing that needs to happen is we need to get the states and local government some funding. This is in his $1.9 trillion stimulus package. And he says the overall unemployment numbers must drop. But this can't happen until more cities open back up and we get back to normal. But what we know is that one of the ways that President Biden is trying to get cities to open back up and the American people back to normal is by getting vaccines out to the majority of the American people. This is a very tall task. He wanted to do 100 million vaccines in 100 days. Well, I think he's been in office for Don't quote me on this, but I think like 44, 45 days. Yeah, somewhere around there. And we are not even close to receiving the amount of vaccines that he had promised. So some people say that this was just a complete lie, but other people say that no, this wasn't a lie. This was him kind of projecting his hopes on the American people. What I can tell you is that reports out today say that Amazon and Facebook, along with Google and Airbnb, are in talks with President Biden and the Biden administration about helping getting these shots out to the American people. One of the ways that Facebook and Amazon are considering helping out in this effort is by educating the people through their own platform. So Facebook would use their videos, their advertising. Amazon would most likely send out, kind of flyers within packages to the American people to educate them on what this vaccine is going to do, how it's going to help out the economy and our country, and what their job should be as a resident or as a citizen. So we will see. Right now, Amazon can also leverage their distribution sites as places to go and get this shot as well. So we don't have a lot of specifics as to how these larger tech companies are going to help out the Biden administration. But what I can tell you is if the tech companies help out the Biden administration, they are going to pretty much demand something in return. What is it? As of right now, we just don't know, but I can guarantee they will ask for something. Also, the Biden administration's goal, as of right now, is to get as many people informed about the positive effects of this vaccine, if it isn't already apparent. They are saying that every single American should be pretty much waiting in line for their turn as it comes about. So, we will see. And if that wasn't enough to help out the American people, President Biden decided to do one other thing. And this is something that I kind of scratching my head about because I find this really interesting and the timing of this is kind of odd. Here's what happened today. President Biden announced today that he will be extending the eviction moratorium it currently expires on March 30th or March 31st. I don't remember how many days are in March, but 30th or 31st, the end of March, is when the current eviction moratorium expires. However, he has already extended that through June 30th. So a little bit more time. And this is going to greatly help keep people in their homes. Now, here's the thing that makes me kind of wonder what's going on. We know that Congress or the House is going to pass this bill hopefully within the next week. Then it'll be kicked over to the Senate. Well, what we know is that within President Biden's $1.9 trillion stimulus package was the eviction moratorium. So we knew that was in there. However, some are saying that they don't know if the eviction moratorium would have passed through the budget reconciliation. Okay, but it's still technically in the bill. So here's what we're hearing, and here's what kind of has me wondering what's going on. Is that President Biden he's going to do this today. He's going to pass this probably through an executive order where he's going to extend the eviction moratorium from the end of March to the end of June. Okay, so we'll have April, May, and then all of June. Additional 3 months. That would be good. But the reason why I'm a little confused by this is because this is already in his bill that will extend it until September 30th. So, if it's already in the bill, they expect the bill to be passed within the next month, yet President Biden is going to go and do this and extend it an additional, 3 months? That just makes me wonder, is there something else going on that we're not hearing about? Or is it just because this eviction moratorium doesn't actually impact the federal budget? Now, my guess is it does impact the federal budget because some people, specifically landlords, are going to go and try to get some type of rental relief for those people. So it is going to affect the budget overall. So it is a budgetary issue, and it would fall within the confines of the budget reconciliation rules as far as the Senate's concerned. So that just has me a little confused. Now, I didn't mean to go off on a rant there, but if somebody else knows something else that I'm not seeing, again, I just looked this up probably for about 2 hours just on this specific thing, and I just can't come up with an answer. I wish I could, but I can't. So my guess is something else might be in the works. But as I know more, promise, I'll share more on that front. He is also extending the mortgage forbearance as well. This will prohibit any foreclosures at the same time for the same amount as well. So you cannot go and get foreclosed on until after June 30th, which most likely will get pushed back probably until after September. And on top of this, Americans that own a home can opt into mortgage forbearance for an additional 6 months, which means, and this is also going to be extended until June 30th. So this means, let's say you lose your job or you're having some financial struggles. And this comes, let's say, the 1st of June. Well, what we know is by having this passed, by having this as a new law, this is going to give homeowners an additional 6 months. So that means if they go and get mortgage forbearance on, let's say, June 20th, they do not have to pay a mortgage payment in, let's say, July, August, September, October, November, and December. They won't have to make another mortgage payment until January 2022. So this would give homeowners the ability to stop paying their mortgage for the time being and simply add that payment onto the end of their loan. Let's say they have an additional 25 years left. That means their mortgage would actually be extended from 25 years to 25 years and 6 months. So we will see what happens there. But right now we know this is going to help out many people. And this will also most likely prevent the housing market from pretty much a slight decline. Some are expecting we will see a 10%, maybe 20% correction in the market. I anticipate we will see maybe a 5 to 10% correction in the market. But if this goes through and you cannot get your home foreclosed on, and this simply means people that do have a federally backed loan. So if you have a conventional loan, it's not going to happen, not going to work. But if you have FHA, FDA, or USDA loans, then yes, you can get this mortgage forbearance. So that is good news there. Right now, we also know that roughly 2.7 million homeowners are currently enrolled in this mortgage forbearance program, but there's still an additional 11 million people or homeowners that could get this relief if they needed it. So this is something that we need to look out for, because some say if more homeowners understood that their credit really wouldn't be affected, they might not be able to go and buy a new home right now if they had mortgage forbearance on their current home. But if they don't plan on buying an additional home and 11 million additional homeowners can do this, it would make sense financially, if they've been impacted at all, to just go and get mortgage forbearance for an additional 6 months. This would be like putting your mortgage payment into your pocket for 6 months. That would be a huge stimulus check to the American people. And some experts say that if all 13.7 million homeowners stop paying their mortgage forbearance, we would see a short-term financial crisis on the heels or in the midst of a health crisis. That would be critical, and it would be very difficult to overcome that. Many experts also say that these $1,400 stimulus checks are not going to help everybody, but they will provide a decent-sized boost to those that are currently in need. And that's what's critical about this. This is why getting these $1,400 stimulus checks out to the American people as quickly as possible is a must for the Biden administration. The Biden administration doesn't want to go and try to do all these little policies, all these different provisions within their $1.9 trillion stimulus package, and are hoping that providing a $1,400 stimulus check to the majority of the American people will simply solve their problems. However, I can tell you right now, $1,400 is not going to solve every American's problems. What I can tell you is that there's a lot riding on this $1.9 trillion stimulus package. We know there's $1,400 stimulus checks, $400 per week in unemployment assistance for an additional, 24 weeks until August 29th. We have additional food assistance, which provide 15% additional to the SNAP benefits program. We have rental and mortgage forbearance, vaccine funding, $350 billion in state and local government funding. We have additional tax benefits for children and earned income credits. We also have a $15 increased minimum wage. So, as we get more information as to what is actually coming out that is going to potentially help the American people, I promise I will keep you updated on all of it. I just want to thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing and also sharing this video with your friends and family over on Facebook as well, so they too can stay updated. Again, thank Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.